All right, there they are backstage. Michelle Coleman getting set for the Toronto Titans, our first event of day 2 of match 7. 100 freestyle, and it's a good one. Siobhan Haughey with 2 wins. Sjöström with 2 wins. And Yo-Yo with 2 wins as well. Somebody potentially could wind up with 3 wins, but obviously we could get somebody to get their first one. But I would think that those 3 are going to be the ones to watch.
Something's got to give here, no question about it. 3 of the 6 fastest swimmers in history in this event. And I've got to say, this is where energy is just so strong, Bernie. Think about this. Vimke Hemskirk, who swims for energy, is the 8th fastest performer in history and the 3rd fastest on her team here in the 100 freestyle behind Sjöström, you just saw there, and Haughey. And Haughey has the fastest time of the season. It's just incredible how deep they are in the women's sprints.
We were talking about it earlier, too, how impressive it is to see Siobhan Haughey, who won the 400 freestyle yesterday, have an opportunity to win the 100 freestyle today. And she has the fastest time in the field at ISL 2020. And you don't see a lot of 100 swimmers go all the way up to 400. I don't think that we can convince Sjöström or Yo-Yo that they should do the 400 as well.
No, it's an array that is like very few swimmers in the world today that can go 100 to 400 and literally be world class. Great start there by Sjöström, 0.50. Boy, she can get off the blocks, and that's going to really help her later on in the skins. The start's so critical in that 50 at the end of the program.
Well, Yo-Yo and Sjöström are right next to each other. They're on the bottom of the screen. Sjöström, you can see in the red cap with maybe a slight edge now. Siobhan Haughey takes the lead, and Haughey is going to turn first.
24-7 there for Haughey. 25 flat for Sjöström. When she went 51-1, she was out a half a second faster, so much slower for Sjöström. Can she come back now on Haughey?
Haughey turning first. 25 meters to go down the stretch. Oh, here comes Sjöström. Sjöström swimming stroke for stroke with Haughey. Sjöström has taken the lead, and she gets the win. Sjöström the first to 3 wins in the 100 freestyle.
Just what we thought. Those top 3 right there. 3 of the best in the history of the sport in the 100-meter freestyle. And Sjöström just gets by Haughey at the end. 51.32, 17 100ths of a second, Bernie. The difference. 25 flat going out, but 26.2 coming back. That's the big difference right there. Yo-Yo also came back very well, 26.4. She just couldn't get out with him. 25.4 is not getting out with him at all. And even Haughey just kind of faded at the end, 26.7. But what a charge at the end by the Olympic gold medalist and a world record holder.
Yeah, it's hard not to imagine Sarah Sjöström looking as an early favorite for the skins with that performance in the 100 freestyle. She picks up a 3rd win, and energy standard goes 1-2. All right, next up, men's 100 freestyle on the pool deck. And potentially, in all likelihood, it's the final day of competition for DC Triton. They've had some impressive swims this season, and probably their most impressive athlete is about to step onto the pool deck, and Zach Apple, who's won this event 3 times. He has a chance to go the ISL 2020 season unbeaten, and it's hard to imagine that he won't.
First time anyone has won an event 4 times this season in 2020. And you're right, Bernie. I mean, he's been 45.7, faster than Dressel, faster than Manadou. I mean, he's just been on fire right there in front of you. He's rated number 2 behind Dressel, but that rating is going to have to go up at some point. 45.74, just outside a top 10 performer in history. He would love a best time here to end what has been a spectacular season for this young man.
All right, Apple's going to be at the top in lane number 7 in the red cap. Lobanowski, the Hungarian, he's down at the bottom in lane number 1.
They are not going with Manadou here in the 100, saving him a little bit later on in the 100 IM.
And Lobanowski, who saw win the 50, out first. DeBoer, Team Iron, 1 and 2 with Blake Peroni, but this is what we typically see. Just like Sjöström, Apple comes home and charges the final 50. He is taking the lead. Now battling with Peroni. Don't forget about Reloff, though, in the mix as well. But Zach Apple, 4th win in the 100. He gets it done for DC Trident.
Well, you know, he's just run out of gas as far as the amount of swimming he's been able to do here. He has carried this men's team for DC Trident on his shoulder. You see him mark up 4, yes sir, 4 in a row for Zach Apple. And he will walk away from here with his head held high as being the man for DC Trident. 22-4 going out, but 24 flat coming back home. Peroni having a nice swim himself, 46.6, 14 100ths of a second behind his American compatriot.
Well, Zach Apple, 4 for 4. Down to 5-time Olympian Mark Foster. How about them apples, Mark? Yeah, Zach Apple, a big pickup as the Iron Lady steps onto the pool deck here. Kahosou down in lane number 2, 3rd fastest in history in this event. She's won this event 4 times.
Including this year. She won in match 2. Wasn't a very quick time. In fact, it was the slowest by far winning time in the 200 butterfly. She was a full second behind match 6's winner Kopish of 206.1. She went 207 flat.
And right now, Bethany Gallett, she's going to be up in lane number 7. She's only 1/100th of a second different than what we saw Kahosou go. Event rated number 3 at 31 years of age. Kahosou, that's why they call her the Iron Lady. She continues to swim the sport's most difficult events.
She went 206.3 to get 3rd in match 4. And Bernie, when she went 206.3, she was out in 1.4. I don't think it's going to take a 203, 204 like we've seen a lot. I think 205, 206 definitely wins this. So she's got that opportunity here. She goes 206, she'll be in the game.
Well, and this is one of the reasons why Team Iron feels like day 2 is a whole lot better. Kahosou, some really good events between this 200 butterfly and the 400 IM that happens later. And again, it's a battle of strengths and weaknesses, obviously, here in ISL 2020. The match isn't just one day. It's 2 days of competition. And sometimes you take your blows on day 1, but if you know you can finish strong, it's a big deal to know that coming home.
It certainly, I think, will help build her confidence because you have to figure that Iron is going to make the semifinals. Outside looking in as far as making the finals, so I think she'll come in really prepared to be at her very best in that semifinals. And I think today is an important day for Kahosou. She swims 3 different times. She's got this, you mentioned the 400 IM, she's also got the 100 IM, at least right now she does. And so it's important for her. By the way, she was about a second faster than she went when she went 206. So she's looking pretty good. Kahosou, the Iron Lady, right now is in charge.
And right now, Team Iron with a pretty good opportunity to go 1-2 in this 200 butterfly. Kahosou turning first, Ugolkova turning second, and Team Iron swimming just in front of Gallant at the moment.
Still strong there, 32.4. That was still the fastest split of anybody in the field on the third 50. So this is a little bit of a different Kahosou that we have seen. This race right here especially.
Kahosou is finding her form here in ISL 2020. She gets the win.
Wow, much better for Kahosou. That's what you want to see. Much, much better. She's going to be, I think, pleasantly surprised with that race. Almost a full second better than she's been this season, and she's made that steady drop. She goes 207 the second match. The next match she goes 206.3 and then ends up with a 205.4 there. Out in 006, back in 104. Plus, it's still not quite the Kahosou that went 201 back 6 years ago, but look at the gap. And I think this will certainly give her a lot of confidence. Not that one of the best swimmers of all time needs it, but I think it will.
Well, it's her fifth win. She shows you that the 200 fly is Kahosou territory. 1 point for the Iron ahead of Energy Standards. They score 11 points in that battle. Energy Standard leading the battle with 341 points, but Iron inching a little bit closer to the Toronto Titans. As it's time now for the men's 200 butterfly, and Chad Leclos has an opportunity to try to join Kahosou with 5 ISL wins in this event. Also in the field, there's Ramon Klenz for Team Iron. He broke one of the most successful German swimmers in history's 200 fly record, taking down Michael Gross when he went 151.51, just 22 years old. A German that was silver at the European Short Course Championships. He's the only one that's in the top 10 as far as times are concerned for ISL 2020 with Chad Leclos. Still a little bit of a difference, though, because Leclos has gone 150.48. Tom Shields, the fastest time so far this year. And I feel like we talked about it the last couple of matches, but Chad Leclos certainly hadn't found his form the first match, but he has really broken out, and he's the typical Chad Leclos here. And this is his premier event, and the 200 butterfly, the one that he won in London 2012, taking down the Michael Phelps. There he is, Chad Leclos, 28 years of age.
Well, the 2 times he swum this race, he swum it completely different. The first time he was out in 52.5 and on the way to a 150 point. And then the second time he swam it, he was out almost a second slower, 53.3. Which way will he do it this time? Well, it's a little misleading with this field right here because he's so much better than anybody else, but it looks like at first glance he's going to go out for it a little faster than he did last time.
Well, sometimes that's an advantage, right, Roddy? Is unlike an event where you might be tested, you could play around a little bit with a strategy, right?
Yeah, you're right, Bernie. That's a great point in the fact that, hey, let's tinker with it. Maybe let's charge out the first 50, or let's lay off our legs on the third 50, or let's really get after the last 50. And this is one chance he'll be able to do it. 53.3, exactly what he went out in the second match when he went 150.5. So certainly on track to do that.
Told you about Kleins at the beginning. He is currently on the left side of the screen in a battle for second place with Stepanovic and Zach Harding out in 7 and 8. Also Elliott and 5 going back and forth with 50 meters to go, though it's all eyes on Chad Leclos trying to win the 200 fly for the 5th time in his career.
A little short on that turn, but 28 flat, Bernie. That 50 alone, he was a second and a half ahead of everybody else. So he's certainly putting the effort in here in this last 50. He may get under 150. He's going to be close.
Look at the jackpot time rule, 150.28. That ties Tom Shields for the fastest time of the season. It's going to be a pretty big jackpot getting hauled in by Chad Leclos after he wins the 200 butterfly. 19 points, the jackpot to Leclos. Was there any doubt?
Never a doubt from the very first stroke. For one of the great flyers in the history of the sport, Chad Leclos, 53.3 going out. Next two 50s, 28 flat, 28.8. So he comes home in 56.8. That is just flying. Nobody else, the last two 50s were under 29. That's how far and ahead he was. Zach Harding did a great job. He won his best time of the season. And for DC Trident, they've had a couple of good races. He goes 153.3. Nice job for him stepping up.
$24 points for Energy Standard. 19 of them belong to Chad Leclos, who wins for the 5th time. He's down in the pool deck with Mark. Right, Toronto holding on to the number 2 spot here on day 2 of match number 7. Toronto with 258 points. This is a pretty good event for them with Kylie Moss, but we're in for surprises always here in ISL 2020. Indeed, at Swimming Reimagined, we saw Emily Seebohm really break out yesterday, and she is back into the competition of a pretty stacked field here. 4 swimmers rated in the ISL top 10. Seebohm rated 6th, Moss rated 3rd, Bratton rated 8th, and Amy Bilquist out in lane 8 rated number 5.
I think this is an important race for Toronto. I really do. I think this is important to maintain that second place position. They are not especially strong on the skins at the end. And they don't want to get in a situation where Chroma Yo-Yo for iron or Sakchi and for iron are swimming those skins, maybe winning them and pulling away a lot of points for Toronto. So this is a case where, you know, somebody like Kylie Moss, she needs to win.
Yeah, Toronto at the moment, they're only in second by 29 points. There is Amy Bilquist trying to do some work for DC Trident.
Haven't talked a lot about her lately, but what an addition for DC, for Amy Bilquist, and what a season she's had. We'll say goodbye to her after today, but she has been pretty special along the way. Finished second in the 100 back, won the 200 back earlier in the season, so she's a great swimmer, and hopefully we'll continue seeing her swim through the next year or two.
Right now, her teammate Mac out with the early leaders on the right side, but this is kind of what you expect as the race pushes on. So does Kylie Moss. She is ahead of Mac now by 0.2 of a second.
Moss was 27 flat on the relay yesterday when she went 56.1, and that was unquestionably the best swim. Seebohm was right behind her, and she's right behind her again.
Seebohm has moved into second. Kylie Moss leading the way, and Kylie Moss is going to win the 100 backstroke for the 3rd time. Amy Bilquist will finish 3rd, and Kylie Moss, this is what they needed. It's going to be a jackpot time for Moss. She's going to earn 12 points for Toronto.
27.1 going out. 28.8 coming back. And another great comeback for Seebohm. We saw her do that in the 200 back, winning the 200 back yesterday, really on that last 50. So she's charging home as well. It's 28.9 coming back, and the best time of the season for her, and the best time of the season for Kylie Moss as well. And when you talk about Amy Bilquist at 57 flat, well, what a great swim for her to end her career here in the 100 backstroke, or at least her ISL season. And good swim for Toronto, exactly what they needed to maintain that big lead over the iron.
Toronto, 12 points for Kylie Moss, and Lisa Bryan gets to keep her points, so 15 total going to Toronto as Kylie Moss gets the win for the third time, Mark. Wait, 2 days off and then we go again with more doubleheaders?
Back to back to back to back. Here we go.
A lot of swimming on the air.
I love it.
Doubleheaders 4 out of the next 6 days. Here we are in the 100 backstroke. 4 swimmers in this event have won this event. The first ever to win, Clement Kolesnikov at 20 years of age, won in Indianapolis as we began our ISL journey a year ago, and he didn't quite look into form until the relay yesterday. Now he's broken out with the fastest time we've seen in ISL 2020.
Yeah, we've been questioning that for the last 3 weeks. Where was this guy? Where was he? The second fastest performer in history. We kept saying, when is he going to have a breakout? And he did it in a big way yesterday, 49.16, and all of a sudden jumped out to a huge lead in the ISL season thus far over Guido.
Kolesnikov and Matt Grievers swimming, but down in lane number 1, Guilherme Bassetto. He's gone 50.24. This is a pretty tight field, and Robert Galenta right there next to him.
And there goes Kolesnikov, though. He is taken over that third 25. Wow, did he jump on that in a great turn?
And Kolesnikov jumps into the lead. He has won this event for the first time since Indianapolis a season ago. Kolesnikov has energy standard on top.
All right, he's 20. Get these splits for 100. How about 24-3, 25 flat? I mean, if you take the start into consideration, Bernie, that's basically even splitting 100 freestyle or 100 backstroke. 100 in any race, something like that is so rare. I know you're starting on in the water on backstroke, but still, that is a heck of a swim. He outsplit everybody else in the field by almost a second on the second 50.
14th win for Energy Standard here in match number 7. Energy Standard, just the second team to get 300 points on day number 1. They keep pouring it on here on day 2. All right, up next to 100 IM. Anastasia Skurdai is going to be in lane number 3. She's the only swimmer in this field that has won this event. 3 swimmers rated in the top 10 in the ISL ratings. Skurdai with the highest rating of 5th. Katinka Hosu is back. No rest for the weary for her.
Yeah, this event is taking place in Budapest time at 10:31, and she swam the 200 fly at 10:12, so about 17, 18 minutes, 19 minutes. That's a tough back-to-back. And they're really in, Skurdai is actually in a great position because she's right next to Hosu. So why not be right next to the best swimmer in history in this event if we're going to have a chance to win it? And there she is, the Iron Lady. proving why she's called that over and over again. World record holder, 56.5.
Skurdai, though, very good on butterfly. She's going to jump out to the early lead.
Skurdai was very good. She's so good at the dolphin kick, and I think that's one reason why her first 50 is so good. She's 26.3 the first time she swam this, and actually energy is going to be 1-2 again.
Yes, Skurdai, Harvey, and Louise Hansen for Toronto in the gold cap on the right side of the screen now swimming fourth. Laukkanen is a breaststroker. She is moved up, and Laukkanen has moved into first.
Well, you knew Laukkanen was going to put in a special breaststroke. Now can Skurdai come back on her? Instead of Kahosou, she sees her right there to the left.
Skurdai looks over, and Laukkanen is in the lead, and it is going to be Skurdai coming home for Energy Standard for their 15th win, as Skurdai has won the 100 IM for the second time this season.
That was a tough loss for Iron. If you're going to start to move up, you've got to start winning events, and she just missed it. Great time. Laukkanen 58.42, best time of the season, but 3/100ths of a second behind Skurdai, and that's what champion teams do, Bernie. They find a way to win those close races, and we've seen Energy do that. And even though Laukkanen took it to her in the breaststroke, here's the turn right in front of you. What a breaststroke split. We don't have it. It's only a 25, but Skurdai in the red cap chasing her down at the end. I thought maybe Laukkanen would have held on, and no. So close, and yet so very far.
Skurdai coming home. Energy Standard continues to surge here. They've now tacked on 15 more to their total. So Energy Standard now with 405 points. Maybe approaching that world record performance that I know that Jason Lezak keeps joking with.
He was bragging about that, wasn't
James
he?
Gibson. Cali Condors are the highest point total ever in ISL history. But just to talk about how evenly matched the teams are, Cali Condors, London Roar, Energy Standard, their very best is all within about a point, right around that 610.5 point mark.
Let's skip ahead to the finals.
Ready to go.
I'm ready for that final. What a battle that's going to be.
Yeah, 100 IM on the pool deck, and a battle for Manadou in 3, and Marco Orsi, the 29-year-old Italian, who won 3 golds at the Italian short course World Championships on a relay. He's the Italian record holder, however, in this event. Manadou just about 2/10 better than Orsi so far this season. And the good news for those two is they're going to be right next to one another in lanes 2 and 3.
They're 3 and 5 this season, ranked, and 7 and 8 all-time performers. I mean, Manadou, here's a guy who swims this 100 IM. He's only one of 7 swimmers in history ever to break 51. He went 50.9 7 years ago.
Man, Orsi looks pretty good down there in the bottom in lane number 2. He's going to turn first. Fezkov currently swimming second, only 1/100th off the pace. Manadou, he moves up. He could be big on the back half.
Yeah, well, he only has to keep it close going in the freestyle because nobody can stay close to him. Did Orsi build a big enough lead on the freestyle, though? That's the question.
Orsi trying to hold on. Manadou comes charging, but Orsi, he gets the win for Team Iron. The second time this season he's won it, and again, how big is the jackpot? Because the winner is the only one that gets that extra point. Orsi will get 10 points as he steals away a point from Energy Standards, Sidlauskas.
And that was huge for Iron because they beat Toronto this time by 15/100ths of a second, 52.02 to 52.17. Great swim for Fesikov, though. He was not even ranked in the top 10 this season. In fact, well, he comes in rated 9th in the 100 IM, but to grab second for him was important for Toronto to kind of maintain that pace and still keep that lead. Tough race for Manadou. He's about half a second slower than he was a couple days ago.
Nice battle between Orsi and Manadou. Orsi gets the nod and 15 more added to Iron's total here on day 2. All right, backstage, Dinos Rapsis looking to continue and get his second win of the season in the 200 freestyle, but Siobhan Haughey, she is back. Pretty versatile to think about. She's won the 400, she's won the 100, and she has a chance now to get the trifecta and win the 200 freestyle. And this is an event that she's been dominant in, Rowdy. She has won this event 5 times.
151.42. This year alone became the 5th fastest performer in history. Still a second off the world record by Sjöström, who is not in this race. Begin, why not? Well, you've got Haughey and Hemskirk in there. Hemskirk's only the 9th fastest performer in history. So those 3 women right there, Sjöström, Haughey, and Hemskirk, make 3 of the fastest 10 swimmers in history. Again, just like the 100 freestyle, and they're, well, you know what? They're on the same team.
2 wins this season, 5 wins overall. She was with DC Triton a year ago.
She's become quite the Iron Woman herself, Bernie, as you mentioned earlier, swimming the 100, the 200, the 400.
But we've got the 2 fastest in ISL 2020 battling, and Rebecca Smith for Toronto. But it's hard because Haughey still has gone 1.5 seconds faster than Haughey has, and it's hard to imagine Haughey not winning this event for the 6th time. Anything can happen, though. That's the beauty of ISL 2020.
Yeah, Haughey just starting to have that building feeling. You could see the tempo just starting to increase just slightly that second 50. I mean, think about these 2 50s that she's got right there. Haughey was 26.3 the first 50 and then 27.9, the only swimmer to break 28 there on that second 50.
All right, and Haughey is taking the lead now. Hemskirk right behind her, and Energy Standard a chance to go 1-2 here in this 200 freestyle. They're already leading the match with over 400 points, 411 points, in fact.
54.2 going out for Haughey. Right what she went out in when she went 151.4 earlier in the season.
Leah Smith, 3/10 back behind Hemskirk. As Haughey turns, coming home, trying to get her 5th win in this event and the 16th win of the match for Energy Standard. She was the MVP her last time out, and Haughey is going to lead a 1-2 finish. It's going to be another big jackpot for Siobhan Haughey. She loves this jackpot rule.
You betcha she does.
She's got 21.5 points in the MVP total. She's going to tack 15 more onto that. Right now, Chad Leclos is the leader, but with that, she moves into second behind Chad Leclos.
You know, everything she does so well. Not especially quick off the blocks, but she carries that energy into the water so well. Technically very good, nice streamline, great body line in the water, and just so consistent. I mean, look at these last few splits. Yeah, she backed off a little bit, but 27.9, 28.5, 29 flat her last 50. Every single 50 was faster than anybody else in the field. That's how good Haughey was throughout the entire race.
Well, The MVP from a match ago with another big win. She's down with Mark. All right, on to the pool deck. Dinas Rapsis. Believe it or not, he's only won this event one time, but he has certainly been dominant. Matsumoto 141.77. Rapsis about a half a second better. He's a full second and a half better than Zach Apple. And the thing to think about, again, with Rapsis, if he keeps getting better, he's gone 140.85. Does he have a chance to potentially take down Paul Biederman's 139.37? Only 2 men in history have gotten under that 140 mark, and Rapsis seems poised to try to break that barrier as well.
I was just looking at that. Only 8 men have ever broken 141, and he's one of them. 6th fastest performer in history. His event rating is a little misleading there, 4th right now, just the fact that he will keep moving up in that rating if he wins this race. And certainly all indications point to a victory here for him. Won it easily in the 400 yesterday, at least for 350 meters, and you might remember him stopping on the wall, miscounted, hung on the wall for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then won the race by only 1/10 of a second, though.
I think his teammates joke with him that, hey, 200, it's 8 lengths of the pool.
You better be able to count to 8. If you can't count to 16, count to 8. Listen, that's happened a million times in swimming. Even in a 400, 500-yard freestyle, we see it all the time. So he won't be the last one, that's for sure, that miscounts.
Well, he's halfway, and he finds himself nearly even with Santos, who's down in lane number 2 for Team Iron.
Well, when he went 141.2, he did everything the last 50. His last 50 was 25.2, Bernie. So, again, he was 50.2, 50 flat there, 50.2. He was 49.8 going out. Watch this last 50 by Rapsis. I have a feeling you're going to see something pretty special.
Blake Peroni also in the mix. Santos, Rapsis. And Rapsis kicking it into another gear here in the final 50. He has taken over this 200 freestyle, and already by a big margin. A full body length lead built on the final lap as Rapsis kicks it into gear to get the win for Energy Standard.
What'd I tell you? Mirror image of what he did earlier. Again, the time not that quick, but boy, all he did was exactly what he needed to do to win the race. 142.4. And a great double, by the way, for Blake Peroni and Zach Apple. Both of them having swum the 100 freestyle earlier. Both of them having solid performances here to get 2nd and 3rd for Toronto and DC, respectively. But in the end, it was about Rapsis and his 25.4 on the end. But Apple and Peroni, both under 26 as well.
Wow, what a performance by Rapsis, getting his 2nd 200 freestyle win. Back down to Mark. Oh, the defending champs have found their form. Rapsis added to their total now with 445 points. Kylie Moss she's going to check in and swim the 50 butterfly here. Flipping from her back to doing a little butterfly. Pretty good field here. Skurdai is going to be in 4. She is really quick. Maddie Bannock won this event her last time out. She's going to be in lane number 3, and can never count out Ranomi Kromowidjojo, who is going to be down in lane number 2, who's won this event 2 times, including match 2 and match 4 here in ISL 2020. She's got the fastest time of anyone in the ISL this year, including Beryl Castadello.
One of the best fields we will have today. 3 of the top 4 swimmers this season are in this race. You mentioned Kromowidjojo, Hanique, Bannock, and then Skurdai, who won the 100 fly yesterday. But Bannock, what an addition she has been to Energy. Tremendous career at Tennessee. But Kromowidjojo, the second fastest performer in history, has to be considered the favorite. Lane number 2.
All right, they're right next to one another. Kromowidjojo, Bannock, Skurdai, all at the bottom, and it's Kromowidjojo with a really good start, turning first. Right next to her is Bannock, who won this event 24.97.
Boy, Bannock went full 15 meters.
And Kromowidjojo leads the way to a 1-2 finish for Iron, and it's a jackpot, and a huge one. Not only are they going to get 16 points for the win, but Ranomi hauls in 19 of her own.
Wow, that all of a sudden makes this meet for second huge. And Nick, you see her, what a performance she had. Almost goes her lifetime best. Remember, she was the 4th fastest performer in history, and it's not like she did that time years ago. That was last year. Far left-hand side of your screen. Bannock trying to do all she can, stays underwater maybe just a little too long, because on top of the water, that's the champ.
And Iron trailing Toronto by only 15 points. It turns in a moment when you score 26 and the team you're going against doesn't score. And look at how tight it is now in the battle for second. And it's hard to imagine that this isn't another good one for them here, the 50 fly for Team Iron. They're going to have Orsi, who looked really good in that 100 IM, and 40-year-old Nicholas Santos in lane number 2. And I'm sure he watched Sebastian Szabo nearly break his world record a couple days ago for the Aqua Centurions. Chad Leclos in the field as well. But Nicholas Santos broke the long course world record in the 50 fly, owns the short course world record of the 50 fly, and at 40 years old, he is still going strong. Santos actually runs a strength and conditioning company back at home, and I would love to sign up for any of his gym activities, because obviously the man is jacked at 40 years old.
Oh,
I could use some tips.
Look at this dude. You just got to see this dude. This is quite the field, too. Think about it. Santos in the middle will stand up against these 2 youngsters. Look at those 2 guys, Bernie. Holy smokes. Oh, my gosh. He doesn't look 40. When he broke that world record, it was just 2 years ago. He broke it at 38 years of age, and boy, can he get out there that first 25.
Oh, Santos, he saw what Szabo did, and he is going
Wow!
after. Look at how good Santos is underwater. 21.75 is his world record, and he goes, 22.04. Another jackpot coming home. Iron is bringing in the points in the 50 fly.
Sign me up. I'm ready. I'm taking your class, my man. I may have to move to Brazil. I want to look like that when I grow up.
And by the way, Manadou finished 6th in the field. 24 points for Santos.
Oh, my goodness. And he gets off the block. He's 40 years old, .60 on getting off the blocks. Look at this guy. Just sit back and look. That age is definitely, when it comes to Nicholas Santos, just a number. Oh, look at those guns.
And with the butterfly, Team Iron moves in front of Toronto. They are now in second. All right, there she is backstage, 15-year-old Benedetta Pilato. She's upset, if you will, in the 50 breaststroke. Not sure that you could call it an upset, though, when you're 15 years old, because you're just really trying to define your group. But the way that Pilato was swimming, you almost expected her to win every battle that she was racing in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're 15, there's no such thing as, even at Pilato's ability, you can't consider it an upset, especially in a 50, because so many things have to go right in that 50. And it just slipped away from her here, or there in the 50, but certainly will be a big favorite.
It was Ida Holko who's going to be down just a lane away from her with Laukkanen in between. There's Pilato, 15 years old, 7th rated swimmer in this event. It's been King, Ali Atkinson, who've really dominated, but into the picture now in the 100 breaststroke. Benedetta Pilato, the Italian national record holder.
When she went 103.6 in that very first match against Lily King, a lifetime best, moved her into the 9th spot all time. She was out in 30.1, really quick on the way out, and really has not been the same since as far as the dominance goes. She's 103.9 on the relay.
And Holko, who won the 50, going out really good, 30.1, 2/10 in front of Pilato.
Yeah, that's what Pilato when she went 3.6, and Holko and Laukkanen are very good here in the breaststroke for Iron. Another great event for them, and all of a sudden here comes the youngster taking a charge.
That's Laukkanen with some power. Pilato, Laukkanen, Holko down the stretch. This is going to be a whole lot of fun. Laukkanen has taken the lead. Can she hold on? Oh, Holko, she does it. She wins the 50 and the 100, and the 15-year-old falls to 3rd.
And I don't know what snack the Iron had the last hour, but I'm going to go try it because they have been on fire here the last 3 or 4 events. What a performance, and boy, now all of a sudden that 30-point deficit has turned into a huge lead over Toronto for second. 4-1, 4-4, and 6-1 at the end, Bernie. 0.2 of a second between those 3 swimmers, and look at the far left, and Holko, 30.1, 34.2. What a charge by Laukkanen at 33.7 at the end to get second. It's a great race.
Team Iron surging ahead with 3 straight wins. Now getting just a little bit of separation between Team Iron and Toronto. And guess what, Roddy? This may be one of their best events on paper to try to win, with Emery Sakchi coming onto the pool deck. He almost broke the world record yesterday in the 50 breaststroke, and we will see what he does for an encore. It's going to be over in lane number 2, right next to Shamanovic.
Well, it certainly puts the pressure on McKee, the Titans' best breaststroker, right there in lane number 6. Of Great 200 breaststroker, obviously. A little short for him. This really is going to be shaping up between Sakci and Shamanovic right there in front of you. There's Sakci with a dark cap. Remember, 4 100ths off the world record. Shamanovic, though, on that relay yesterday was spectacular. The medley relay, he was 55.6. Sakci was only 56.4, only. But almost a second behind Shamanovic. It takes Shamanovic just a little while to get going. First 15 meters is certainly going to be owned by Sakci, but Shamanovic will start to take over from there, I think.
Yeah, Shamanovic broke Adam Peaty's ISL record in match number 6. His last time out. There's Shamanovic getting going. McKee in the mix currently swimming third, but Shamanovic leading the way with actually Lima turning third right next to him.
26 flat going out. When he went 55.8 earlier, it's 25.9, so he's right on what he split earlier. Now starting to look a little bit more in command. Sakci's kind of hanging in there, though, isn't he?
That was a pretty good pullout for Sakci, and he is going to come charging home. Sakci and Shamanovic trying to hold him off, and Shamanovic holds him off just by, a little over a tenth of a second, the difference in that one.
What a race by Sakci. Boy, I cannot wait to get to the skins. Let's jump ahead to the skins, can we? Because this is going to be a rematch in a big way. There is no doubt in my mind these two are destined again to meet in the final of the skins. And you thought right there in the third turn, I thought Shamanovic really was in control. But what a charge by Sakci at the end. He was 29.5 coming home. He beat Shamanovic the last 50, 29.8. And unusually, he didn't get out with him. He was 26.4 going out.
Man, how much fun is the breaststroke going to be? By the way, that's a new ISL record by 1/100th of a second by Shamanovic. And Sakci was almost what Adam Peaty won a year ago in Las Vegas when he won it.
And it was also a new European record. He breaks his own European record.
Well, the records keep falling, and I know that you feel like we'll see 4 or more world records before it's all said and done. And obviously, you can't count on Shamanovic. He is inching closer to the world record as well, 55.61. Just a couple of tenths off the world record for Shamanovic.
And by the way, that's one of the oldest world records on the book, Cameron Vandenberg.
All right, one of your favorite events, the mixed freestyle relay, coming onto the pool deck now.
This one's a little more wide open than you would think it would be. I mean, obviously, energy, you thought, well, it's going to be a slam dunk. The problem is they've taken a lot of their best swimmers off these relays. Energy has. So there's no Sjöström. There's no Kromowidjojo. There's no Hemskirk. And the reason is because they've got the women's 50 skins in about 25 minutes. So they're saving those best sprinters at the end. But energy, here's where energy is so good. They've got the Olympic gold medalist going third in the 50 free. And they've got Hahi, and we know all about her, anchoring. So still give the edge to energy.
And for the battle for second place, 17 points at the moment is the difference between Team Iron and Toronto. There they are, 350 points, Toronto 333 points. And again, one extra point going the way of the team that finishes in second place. So a chance for Iron or Toronto to either get 3 points or 2 points.
And I think Toronto knows that, and you saw that in Chadwick going out in 22 flat. He's been really valuable. Certainly the most valuable guy as far as sprinting goes for Toronto, 22 flat. So you really have to start looking at Toronto and Iron over the far left, and a nice job, 46.64. Reloff came back on him at 46.65.
Yeah, Reloff had a great final 25. Second leg of the relay, Kolesnikov, Fezkov, and 4 and 5.
If Toronto can somehow, I don't think they're going to win, but if they can somehow get second and third here and jump ahead of Iron, if Iron somehow falls back, Toronto will be back in this, and they've got the 400 IMs ahead of us where Toronto's pretty strong. So, again, this match is for second is certainly not over.
Yeah, again, you get 18 points for a first place finish. That's what it looks like for Energy Standard, but not too far off for second place.
Boy, Kalashnikov, you're going to pop him on that free relay, 45.5. One of the fastest splits we've seen thus far this ISL season.
All right, Bloom, Olympic champion, swimming in lane number 4. Fish in lane number 5. Toronto looking pretty good to get second and third. 14 points for second, 12 points for third. Mack is trying to get DC Triton into the picture as well.
And Toronto, I think the strategy for them, because they could have gone either way with this A and B relay, and I think they split it up on purpose just to make sure that they tried to get second and third. They kind of knew the victory is going to be out of there, though, so they said, let's load it up for second and third.
All right, Mack has moved DC Triton into second. Bilquist now swimming the final leg.
Mack was really good at 52.48 to put DC Trident in the mix now.
Apostolon swimming for Toronto, as well as Luis Hansen in 5. And it looks like Toronto regaining that second and third spot, with Bilquist trying to hold on and stay in the picture with 25 meters to go. It's all about Energy Standard. They're going to run away with this. The battle at the moment is for second. Haughey gets the win for Energy Standard, but Toronto, they go 2, not 3, because DC Triton. Bilquist gets her hand on the wall. Energy Standard continues to pour it on day 2, now with 515 points. All right, 4 events remain here on day 2 of match 7. It's a 3-point advantage for second place between Team Iron and the Toronto Titans. And man, what a second day it has become for Team Iron. They're winning all in the right spots, and they got another good one here, Rowdy, with the Iron Lady, Kahosou, stepping onto the pool deck here in her home pool in Budapest.
Well, Toronto's got to hope and pray that the 100 IM Kahosou shows up and not the 200 fly Hosu of today. Won the 200 fly 5th in the 100 IM, and Saplucha, who has won this at 427, can win it and take away some points, because Kahosou right there is ranked number 1, second fastest all time. She won the second match at 430.4. But this is her 3rd event of the day.
And again, not taking anything away from the sprinters, but not easy events. 200 butterflies, some would argue the most grueling event. Yep. And obviously, the 100 IM, and then to finish it off with a 400 IM, which I would still think a lot of people would say 200 butterfly, 400 IM, those are two of the most grueling events in all of swimming.
Yeah, flip a coin, 6 to 1, half dozen the other. I mean, both of them so tough in so many different ways. And I have a feeling that, a swimmer like Kahosou knows where iron is at. They look really good going into the skin. So break up that stranglehold. Let's not get fifth here. A second or third, that'll break it up enough to where they can kind of maintain that slight lead heading into the skins. On the other hand, you've got Sepulcha and Barksdale and Anderson, by the way, for Trident are also very good in this event.
And again, I'm not discounting the 1,500, the 1,650, the 1,000 freestylers, but those are events you and I are never signing up for, so that's at a whole nother level.
Yeah, listen, it's barroom talk as far as the most difficult event. I can guarantee you, I was talking to Brett Hawk the other day, and he'll tell you the 50 freestyle is the hardest event. I mean, in many ways it is. It depends on how you look at it. It's all about perspective. And right now the perspective is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swimmers. Not quite at the halfway point, a long way to go, but there are 5 swimmers right in the mix of it, and 2 of them are from Toronto.
It's a better spot for them. Emily Overhauled in 6, Sepulcha in 5. Tack in Emily Barksdale. She's all the way on the right side of the screen. In lane number 8, she's swimming very well. She's, in fact, moved right into contention for first place. But I think this is where Katinka wants to be. In the lead, halfway home. Jacobos currently second and Barksdale now third.
Well, when you look at Kahosou's split here, when she went 430 and Sepulcha went 427, the difference was the breaststroke. Kahosou was 118 plus, Sepulcha was 115 plus. So there's no question that Kahosou's going to have to do a much better job here in the breaststroke.
Sepulcha was the Pan American Games champion in the 400 IM. Only 6/100ths of a second off the Olympic champion, Katinka Kahosou.
Well, regardless of how it shakes out for iron, they're not going to get jackpotted here via Kahosou. And when you look at Ogolgova, she's 6th place right now, so that could slightly happen, and there's Sepulcha. And you don't want to get in a race with Sepulcha now. Maybe a year ago with Kahosou you would want to, but right now Sepulcha's much better on the last 100 than Kahosou is. Much better freestyler.
And she has over a second lead. Barksdale trying to get in the mix. She is trying to battle it out for second place now with Katinka Kahosou.
Emily Barksdale's having her finest 400 IM of the season. No question about it. Her best finish in this event is 5th. She's been 5th and 7th, and a great chance to get second here.
Sepulcha into the lead. Barksdale turning second.
Now what they've got to hope is Kahosou fall further and further behind and maybe get caught for third. That's not going to happen. And then jackpot will happen. The jackpot time, 10.4 seconds.
All right, Barksdale holding on a second, but Sepulcha's won it again. Back-to-back wins for Toronto in the 400 IM. That is big for Toronto as they find themselves behind by 3 points. But they are going to outscore Team Iron here in this 400 IM.
And they'll pick up a couple of back jackpot points too. The 7th and 8th place finisher.
So those 3 points stolen away, headed to Team Iron, and now they are tied with 369 points.
Well, one of those jackpot points was her own teammate, Emily Overholt, who finished 8th, but just a nice performance. At 30.6 730 flat on the in, 007, which is what she came home last time. Again, the big difference for her, 115 flat on the breaststroke. Kahosou was 117.2, so that was the difference there.
Teeing up the win for Toronto. It's all about having a chip and a chair, and Toronto finds themselves right back in the mix with 369 points.
We've tied.
3 events remaining. All right, men's 400 IM next. Yep. Another good event for Iron and David Vrasto. I don't know that you could have a team named Team Iron with the owner, if you will, being Kahosou, and not have the swimmers that are willing to do the work in these grueling events. Of course, that's where David Vrasto comes in.
Certainly when you go on the recruiting trail for those GMs and you know that Katinka is the owner, you better recruit an Iron person in those IMs, and Vrasto certainly fits that bill. Rated #1 in the 400 IM as her teammate Kahosou is in the other 400 IM.
Yeah, but right next to him is the #1 and #2 rated ISL swimmer, and Max Stupen.
Great breaststroker. If he is close to Vrasto after the first 100, it's going to be a great race. He just needs to keep it close going into that third 100, talking about Stupen. If he's within a half a body length, I think he goes by him, Vrasto, on the breaststroke, and then you're going to try to hang on for dear life in that freestyle.
Well, Saplucha certainly got it done on the back half. She's down on the pool deck with Mark Foster. Mark? Yeah, big win for Tess Saplucha, pulling Toronto even with Team Iron, but got a pretty good feeling that Iron is going to take back the lead here.
We talk about Vrasto, and then another Iron swimmer far left is actually Santos Leonardo, not Nicholas. Big difference in those names, but he's looking pretty good on the backstroke. But this is what he's done over and over again. Takes a big lead at the halfway point and then comes way back to the field on the second half of the race. Vrasto's looking good right there. And then Stupen. How about Stupen? We said half body length behind Vrasto at the 100 or at the 200. How about a half body length ahead of Vrasto with a great breaststroke ahead of you?
Yeah, and Stupen almost had the best time of his life the last time he swam this event and won it just a couple days ago.
Yeah, his best 4:04.39. He went 4:04.7. Abram Devine up there in lane #7 also having a good performance. You still have, I would argue, you still have 3 swimmers with a shot of this, and Vrasto's doing the job in the breaststroke. Don't let him get away. Don't let him get away. Stay with him, and let me race you in freestyle.
And again, that's the storyline right now. If you're Team Iron and you're trying to make sure you secure that second place, you're looking for your 2 swimmers to be better than Toronto's two swimmers, and right now they are doing that work. Of course, they would love to win. And Vrasto and Stupin, man, this one is going to be tight going into the final 100.
Well, Stupin did the job on the first half of the race by keeping it close and in the lead. And then Vrasto did the same thing back to him on the breaststroke.
Maybe changing up their strategy a little bit, Rowdy. 3/10 the difference going into the final 100.
Yeah, what a race we're going to see. And remember, Vrasto coming in with the second fastest time of the season, 4:03.5. Stupin breathing right into him. They actually breathe right into each other going into the last 25. So they'll see each other, know exactly what they'll need to do. And it will be a race to the finish after 400 meters.
Same deficit going into the final 50, and they flip even. We've already seen a tie in the 400 freestyle, and this is as good as it gets in a 400 IM. But Vrasto, he takes the lead. He gets the win for Team Iron. What a final 50. Vrasto taking over the race, gets the win, and moves Team Iron into second with 385 points. All right, it is time for the skins, the moment we have all been waiting for here to conclude match number 7. And Sarah Sjöström has found her form, and we are about to see the fastest two freestylers in the planet potentially swim 350s back to back.
You know, and the crazy thing is, this is a great field, Bernie. I mean, 6 of the 9 rated swimmers thus far this season, 6 of the 9 fastest in the field, and I'm not sure any of them are going to have a chance against Sjöström, Hemskirk, or Kromowidjojo. So they're really kind of fighting for that 4th spot, and that 4th spot's going to be tough between Kwa and Hanik. Both of them have been 24 flat. You got to figure the next level, Sjöström, Kromo, and Hemskirk. No doubt on this first 50 here.
But you got no chance of getting to the finals if you don't make that second round of skins.
You got to get into that second round and then hope and pray for a miracle if you're that 4th swimmer against one of these 3 amazing swimmers, the 2 fastest in history. How'd you like to go against them? Kromowidjojo, world record holder. Sjöström, number 2.
And it's interesting because Kromowidjojo is going to be down in 2. Hemskirk's going to be in between her and Sjöström, at least to start the skins. All right, only 4 will move on. Who will it be?
Much better start for Kromowidjojo. She did not have a good start against Sjöström in the individual 50 free. It cost her the win. A little bit better there.
Looking pretty good for Energy Standard and Iron to have 4 swimmers moving on, and that is what it is. Energy, Iron, everyone else is out.
And all 4 of them break 24 seconds. Wow. All 4 of them. Hemskirk was 4th at 23.93. How close was it for that 13 100ths of a second, Bernie, separated those top 4 swimmers. So all of a sudden, this second round, and it's easy, the eyes easily peel right there to the left 4 lanes. All of them touch. Now, did Sjöström back off just enough to win it? Boy, she was cutting it close. Well, I don't know about cutting it close. She knew she was going to be in the top 4, so I think we haven't seen the end of Sarah Sjöström. She popped out in a hurry, minute and a half left.
Now remember, Chad Leclos currently leads the MVP total, 49.5 points. Haughey and Kromowidjojo tied for second with 41. But Sjöström is right there in the mix with 36 points. So the skins winner very likely could be the MVP. Only half of your points scored in the skins go towards your MVP points at the end of the day.
I think Sjöström is going to be a finalist. That's not an easy, I mean, that's not a hard prediction. I understand, but there's the two teammates. Hanique, who really swam just fantastic to get into that final four. I think she's on the outside looking in here on the next one. I think it's Sjöström, Kromowidjojo.
All right, Sjöström is going to be in 6. Kromowidjojo in 4, and Heemskert in between. Can Hanique or Heemskert help us avoid the inevitable?
Oh, much better start again for Kromowidjojo. She keeps getting better and better. Great start by Hanique, though. There's the Sjöström, just waiting to put it into a completely different gear, and it looks like the two finest in history are going to do it again.
Sjöström, Kromowidjojo on to the final, and we will see the matchup we wanted.
Well, if you're a fan of the sport, you wanted that. That's for sure. If you're a Heemskert or Hanique fan, you're not so excited. But, boy, this is exactly what we thought. And that was a completely different looking Sarah Sjöström. She only goes 0.2 of a second, actually 18/100ths of a second slower than she went in the first round. 3 minutes apart. How about going 23.8 and following it up with a 24 flat? And Kromo right there. The dart cap, gets in there to get second. And again, it's going to boil down to that start for Kromowidjojo. She was 5/100ths of a second slower off the start there. 0.2 of a second slower, though, in the 50. And unless something happens as far as Sjöström's back and it starts to spasm up a little bit or something like that, I think this is all Sarah Sjöström right now.
She looks pretty cool, calm, and collective. It's Gibbo. Kromo has a chance to be the match MVP. Right now, Chad Leclos leading the table with 49.5 points. She's got 44.5 points. With the win, she'd have 7 more added to her total. It would put her at 51.5 points.
Let them know they have a minute.
Could hear the respect Sarah Sjöström had for Ranomi Kromowidjojo earlier.
So much respect between these two greats. Both of them Olympic gold medalists. Both of them world record holders. 1-2 in the 50 freestyle. In history. This one should be fun.
All right, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Sjöström, Kromowidjojo, who will win the skins? Can Ranomi become the match MVP?
Well, let's start at Kromowidjojo, 0.73, a little slower, but Sjöström wasn't that much faster.
Man, Sjöström looks fresh. She turns first, and it looks like she's going to run away with this thing. Oh, Sarah Sjöström. What a day. Energy. She's back.
Wow. That's the fastest she went of the 350s. Can you believe that? She goes 23-8, 24 flat, and then 23-7 to wrap things up. That is sensational. Everything about that race for Sarah Sjöström was just perfect, Bernie. Oh, that's a scary thing to think she's back.
Yeah, what a performance for Sarah Sjöström, getting her hand on the wall first. She can celebrate. She wins the skins once again in Energy Standard, adding 32 more points to their total. They now have 569. You don't want to miss it. Breaststroke skins to conclude match 7 is next. Ranomi, she is so close. Right now it's Chad Leclos in the lead with 49.5 points, but we still have the breaststroke skins to go. And Emre Saatchi is going to be in lane number 2. What a performance he had yesterday. Nearly broke the world record in this event. He comes out, if he can score 27 points total in the skins, he would overtake Chad Leclos for match MVP. London, they've done their job. They've moved into second. Now how can they add to their total? And this is going to be a lot of fun because we have Shimanovic, Lima, Saki, all in this field. Anton McKee, if he can get out of the first or second round, do you think that McKee might have a chance as well?
I think everybody, I think this is very similar to the women's 50 free. I think you have the two best swimmers in Shimanovic and Saatchi. I think they're just destined to meet in the final. Lima has an outside shot. Those three certainly will make the next group. I mean, if you look at the 50 breast yesterday, nobody was even close to those three. It's really, you're right about McKee. Cope. Watch Cope, he was 4th in the 50 breaststroke, but he was 26.6, almost a second and a half behind Saatchi.
And again, the MVP could go down to jackpot points here.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep track of those jackpot points. Saatchi, 0.62. Lima was a little slow off the blocks there.
Looks like McKee, Shimanovic, and Saatchi in that order. Coming on home, but watch Saatchi close. Shimanovic, he looks good. And Shimanovic is going to take round number 1. Saatchi second, and Shimanovic, he's the one that gets the jackpot points.
And that was a tough one. That might have cost the MVP to Saatchi. You'll have to wait to see what happens in the second round, but boy, that was huge for Shimanovic for jackpot.
A lifetime best in round number 1 for the skins. Shimanovic going after it, Rowdy.
25.57. Now he's the 4th fastest swimmer in history off of that one skins. But did he lay it all on the line a little too soon? You know, all he needed to do was just get in there and make it to the Final Four, which was going to be easy. And if you remember Saatchi in the last skins, he got better and better as he went along. And McKee gets in there ahead of Cope. That was a good call, Bernie, with McKee. He might find a way to get in to that final somehow or another.
There he is. Anton McKee for Toronto. He's going to be in lane number 6. Shimanovic in lane number 5. Lima, his teammate, in 4. And Saatchi down in 3. So 2 swimmers for Energy Standard moving on to the second round. And again, to think it's a 50, but a lifetime best performance for Shimanovic right there. We'll have to see how that affects him as this goes on, because remember, when Saatchi took on Dressel in the breaststroke skins a couple matches ago, Sachi just continued to get better every round, and he saved his best for last.
Yeah, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to think that this is going to be all Sachi and Shimanovic. Both of them 25-5, 25-7. McKee was third, but he was a half a second behind Sachi, who will definitely be really good this second round. It's these two right here. Sachi, Shimanovic, 3 and 5.
And Lima stuck in between them in lane number 4.
Good start for both Shimanovic and Sachi.
Yeah, it looks a whole lot better for Sachi jumping out. Anton McKee knows that if he can somehow stick with Shimanovic, he would be moving on. But it looks like it's Shimanovic and Sachi. Those two are going to move on to the final. Which one will touch first? Oh, look at how tight it is. Sachi, 25-8-5. Shimanovic, both will move on, and 2/10 separating those two as they move on to the final round.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Sachi, he is so good at time management. You want to try to figure out how to get through each round, and I think having this kind of performance, remember, this is the first time for Shimanovic, so he's not used to this type of format, and Sachi is, and he gets better and better. He's literally less than 1/10 of a second behind what he went in the first round. Sachi, 25-85. Shimanovic goes a half a second slower. This sure points to a Sachi win at the end.
And if he wins, he would be the match MVP. He finds himself currently 4th behind Leclerc, Kromowidjojo, and Sarah Schoenstrom. But if he wins, he gets 14 points. Half of that goes to his MVP total. And he would break across the 50-point range. And Sachi would be MVP for the first time in his career as he looks to win the skins for the second time in his career. Translation, you got this.
That's good, Bernie. Where did you learn how to speak Turkish so quick? That's good. I like Sachi. I've been pretty good on my picks here. Great sportsmanship.
Sachi talked about how much fun these guys have together. Seems like there's a ton of respect among the breaststroke group, as there are for all the athletes. But when it comes down to business, Shimanovic and Sachi both want to be the skins winner here. Who will win the skins? Can Sachi win it for the second time in his career?
Good start by Sachi. You can see that already. Has that slight advantage.
Sachi jumping out to the early lead. And Sachi, once again, looks like he has saved his best for last. Sachi wins the skins. He's the match MVP, and how he goes 25-57 on his final 50. The man is consistent.
Well, consistent is one way to put it, but just incredible. He goes 26 flat, 25-7, 25-5. And all of them, remember, 3 minutes apart. What a way to end this great meet here than seeing, well, right now, the best sprint breaststroker in the world, At least short course meters, you've got to give it to Sachi. 25-5 on the end. Wow. And very deserving of the MVP, Bernie.
Yeah, 51 points for Sachi. His team is going to earn 3 points for a third place finish. But Emery Sachi coming home to get the win. An impressive performance today. But the match winners, Energy Standard, they're now the leaders on the table with 11 points, and James Gibson is down with Mark. All right, James Gibson and Energy Standard. Now with 11 points, they lead the total, but it is a chance for either Cali or London to leap them later today. A battle of unbeatens. Cali Condors, London Roar coming your way. 4 o'clock local, 10 a.m. Eastern, but for now, Energy Standard gets the win. Mark Foster, Roddy Gaines, our entire ISL crew saying so long from Budapest. For now, we'll see you in 4 hours for more ISL 2020.